In this podcast, I want to explore what we mean, or what we might or could mean, by the term quality enhancement. Back in the mid 1990s, when quality assurance first made its appearance in the UK higher education system, the one I worked in during most of my professional life, we did not use the term enhancement at all. The offices that sprang up everywhere were quality assurance offices. Their job evidently was to provide oversight and checks on various activities, at that time mostly student assessment processes, examinations and so on. It was based in, and quality assurance still is based on, the assumption that processes are fragile and liable to break if they are not constantly checked. A few years later, these offices generally had changed their name. They became quality assurance and enhancement offices. The very minor revolution was that this quality oversight wasn't in fact simply a matter of checking on compliance to policy, procedure, regulation, processes, but also involved some kind of gap analysis between what was being achieved and what was possible or imaginable or legislated. It wasn't simply a matter of oversight, but of using results that would lead to improvements. And in this regard, quality offices became much closer to the strategic planning function, at least insofar as planning is a matter of reporting progress on performance indicators. For more discussion on that, see the series of podcasts on strategic planning. But it seems to me that enhancement could mean much more than this. I'd like to give you an example from some work I did with a client relatively recently. We were discussing innovative educational approaches and looking in particular at the interesting area of the research teaching nexus, that is, how to bring research and the education of students somehow together in various ways. And the colleagues described to me some really imaginative ideas that involve students working individually and in pairs in projects in the community. And I was really impressed by the ideas. But some quality assurance questions came to my mind. How did they ensure that the students had an equitable educational experience when their activities were so distinct? How did they assess the students when their activities were so different and in ways which ensured fairness? So I asked them these questions. And the response was that these colleagues, they had similar concerns. And so they went to their quality assurance people for some advice. At which point my heart rather sank as I imagined these quality colleagues adopting a rather conservative approach. Why? Because if you're responsible for quality assurance, you will also take some responsibility for any failures. And the best way to avoid a failure is to make processes detailed and to adopt a very conservative attitude towards innovation, sticking to standard things like examinations and quizzes, the things that we know about, the easy options. But no, these quality colleagues sat down and they analysed the situation, they worked on the challenges that this innovative education approach raised, and they discussed ways in which the quality matters could be addressed without damaging the educational approach. And I think this creative approach to quality enhancement is really exciting and very worthwhile. It implies, I think, bringing quality closer to matters of learning and teaching and closer to the sites where innovation occurs. It requires a completely different mindset, much less to do with oversight and much more to do with support, much less an agent preventing change and much more an agent aiding and encouraging change. And I'd like to explore these ideas more in future podcasts, but for now, that's enough.